Canadian with a birdie at 11, an eagle at 13. He's 4 under and 2 back. Rory McIlroy in the clubhouse with a dynamic 4 under 67. McIlroy 3 under overall and 3 back. On the course at 3 under, John Rahm, Matthew Wolff, and Richard Bland. I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
And we'll have updates for you all day long, twice an hour up through the 8 o'clock hour, and of course tomorrow as well. As Hollywood gets back to the business of producing films and TV shows, producers are running into a major financial problem: insurance.
COVID-19 has changed the way insurers deal with Hollywood productions, and more importantly, how much they charge and what is covered.
Right now, what we're seeing is that the insurance policies that would cover something like a delay due to COVID are available, but they're very expensive, and they often come with very high deductibles, and they often don't cover as much as they covered before the whole pandemic started.
Anime Carmel is a partner with the insurance recovery firm Passage LLP. The higher cost for insurance has left producers with 3 choices: pay the higher premiums if they can find a company to insure them, self-insure, or take the risk and just don't get insurance. Nathan Roberts, KNX 1070 News Radio.
A motion presented to the City Council recommends that Los Angeles withdraw from the Homeless Services Agency. That proposal says that the agency continues to fall short of what is needed to get Angelino's house and back on their feet. The agency has an annual budget of nearly $1 billion, and the motion claims there is little transparency or accountability. The hunt continues this weekend for several people who attacked a woman and her 3 daughters at the taco stand they run in San Bernardino. The oldest daughter says they were customers who complained that their food was cold, even though they were the ones who left it sitting out for a long time. And then after punching her mother, herself, and 2 younger sisters in the face, they even went further with their mom.
They kicked my mom in the stomach a bunch of times.
CBS 2's Nicole Comstock says there's security video of the attack at the stand run by Rafaela Morales.
2 women and a man in their late 20s to early 30s demanded a refund and more free tacos. And when Rafaela refused to replace the ones they had already eaten, they turned violent.
Along with assaulting the family, they also stole their cash box containing the entire day's earnings. And police want to hear from anyone who can help them track down those attackers. A former San Diego Sheriff's deputy is sentenced to 12 years behind bars in connection with a sex crimes case.
The deputy pleaded guilty to 20 felony and misdemeanor charges involving sex acts with an underage girl, as well as attempts to meet up with minors for sexual purposes. Jalen Fleer was formerly a member of the Sheriff's Jail and Court Services Unit. The case involved 4 victims between the ages of 12 and 14. However, prosecutors believe that he contacted more than 40 others who described themselves as minors. Investigators were not able to track down those and verify whether they were underage. The deputy DA says Fleer saw young girls, offered them money to meet him, and then encouraged them to get their friends to meet him. According to the prosecutor, the victims feared repercussions once they discovered he was a law enforcement officer. He had sent some pictures of himself in uniform. Mark Austin Thomas, KNX 1070 News Radio.
It's 4:20 at KNX 1070. Time to check your money. Here's Gina Cervetti.
Cars on U.S. roads are as old as ever. In January, the average vehicle age rose to a record of just above 12 years. IHS Market's Todd Campo says pandemic factors were at play.
I think people had a little bit of wait-and-see attitude as to what to do, and all that combined to drive the average age of vehicles up.
Used car prices spiked during the pandemic, while a computer chip shortage hit new car production. As shutdowns kept would-be drivers in park, fewer vehicles were being replaced. But Campo says the trend of aging cars started well before the pandemic.
People are paying more for vehicles, they're taking longer loans on vehicles, and therefore they're keeping them longer. And then subsequent owners are keeping them on the road longer as well.
Most of these old cars are well past their warranties, which bodes well for independent repair shops. And Campo says the ongoing remote work trend could mean people using their cars even longer.
That could extend the number of years that the vehicle is still usable.
We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti from the True Mortgage and Money Desk, KNX 1070 News Radio.
And coming up in just about a minute and a half, the latest Hero of the Week from KNX 1070.
It matters where you get your news, and it pays where you get your news.
It's the keyword for cash on KNX.
Your chance to win $1,000 in this nationwide contest.
Listen Monday between 8 and 6 at 49 past each hour for the keyword.
And text it in for your chance at $1,000. Message and data rates apply.
It's the keyword for cash on KNX 1070 News Radio.
Depend on us. Want to know the secret to making sure everything at Ralph's is fresh? Secret shoppers. 5
we hired to expertly inspect our produce department in every store. Their mission is to ensure we have the freshest bananas, lettuce, and more. Now that the secret is out, you know what else is? Tomatoes that are fresher than fresh. Ralph's, fresh for everyone.
Now it's even easier to save on your favorites with delivery and free pickup. Just visit Ralphs.com or the app today. Restrictions apply. Ralphs, fresh for everyone.
For full offer details, visit bobsmithbmw.com/disclaimer.
I'm Tim Smith, inviting you to lease a new BMW from Bob Smith BMW in Calabasas. Listen to this outstanding deal.
Right now, experience the athletic dynamics of the new 2021 BMW 430i Coupe with a 36-month lease for $479 a month. There's a suggested dealer contribution of $1,500. Its aggressive agility and precision engineering absolutely make it an ultimate driving machine. The icing on the cake is working with friends at Bob Smith BMW. They're just off the 101 in Calabasas.
Brought to you by California Resources Corporation.
423 at KNX 1070. Our KNX Helpful Honda Hero of the Week has spent his entire career healing the sick in Simi Valley. He's also teaching the next generation of doctors how to care for those who need a little extra help.
For over 3 decades, Dr. Jonathan Kurahara has been treating people of all ages at Adventist Health Family Practice, Alamo Hills. Even more incredible is the fact that he has spent nearly the same amount of time volunteering as the medical director of the free clinic of Simi Valley.
Yep, came here straight out of my training program at UCLA, and then this is probably where I'll spend all my medical career out here in Simi Valley.
When he first started, he just wanted to be a country doctor, but as time changes, so does the city, and so do the needs of the community. The free clinic provides medical and dental care, and even legal counseling to the underserved population. Dr. Kurahara also teaches high school and college volunteers at the clinic the marvels of medicine and the power of human connection. Many are inspired to pursue a career in the medical field.
The free clinic is often their first exposure to medicine. I like it because it removes all of the other aspects of modern healthcare like insurance and administration, and it just boils down to the essence of medicine, and that's one person helping another, and it's really enlightening to introduce them to that world.
This year, Dr. Kurahara was named the 2021 Physician of the Year for Adventist Health Simi Valley, an honor given to him by his fellow nurses, doctors, and staff. They say he is kind, an expert in his field, and they admire his ability to connect with patients.
It's been a totally rewarding career for me. I just assumed when I'd be a doctor, I'd work in an office and see patients and go to the hospital. But going to the free clinic has really opened up a whole new world as far as giving back. I've met really great people in the community, and that was unexpected and a really enjoyable part of my career out here.
Dr. Jonathan Kurahara is our KNX Hero of the Week. KNX Heroes is brought to you by California Resources Corporation, saluting our military veterans and all of our heroes. If you know someone like Dr. Kurahara who is inspirational, motivational, life-changing, or life-saving, nominate them as a future KNX Hero at KNX1070.com. I'm Heather Jordan, KNX 1070 News Radio.
A special meeting for a headstone and what it means. We'll have more on that coming up for you in 5 minutes, bottom of the hour at 4:30. Right now it's 4:25. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Traffic brought to you by Skywalls. Here is Tim Greenwood.
Okay, let's start in Sherman Oaks. Good news, 405 southbound at Burbank Boulevard. Our 4-car crash is no longer blocking, and the Highway Patrol is no longer running a traffic brake southbound 405 at Burbank. One car's on a tow truck, another one's to the side, another one's on a tow truck. All lanes are open, and southbound traffic recovering from Sherman Way. You'll be on the brakes really hard, but by the time you're at Victory, things will start picking up very successfully, and you'll do great. Trees on fire visible from the 405 north at Atlantic Avenue in Long Beach. Emergency equipment's there. Diamond Bar 57 south at the Sunset Crossing off-ramp. That's the exit you take to go east on the 60. Yeah, that one. There's a 2-car crash blocking lanes down that ramp. Injury crash in Sherman Oaks, 405 south at Burbank has been cleared. I want to mention that again. Lots of folks stuck in that traffic back at Sherman Way saying, what's going on? You can exit and go down Sepulveda, or just hang on. It'll start clearing up here in the next couple minutes. 10 west at La Cienega exit. Injury crash with an SUV and a small car. Next traffic report's coming up at 4:35. With more traffic reports more often from the LegalDefenders.com 24-hour traffic center. KNX 1070 News Radio.
Mainly in the 80s currently. We do have some warm temperatures. Lawrence and Rancho Palos Verdes, it's 68 degrees. Meanwhile, in Beverly Hills, it's 85. And in Sherman Oaks, it's 86 degrees at 427.
Every squeeze, every spray, every bubble, every day, you does good. When you use brands like Dove's and Hellman's, you're supporting Unilever's mission to do good in communities impacted by the pandemic. This year, Unilever's donating more than $25 million worth of everyday products and services to groups like Feeding America and Boys and Girls Clubs of America. To learn more, visit unileverdoesgood.com. Unilever. Every day you does good.
This June, investigate the clues at Savoba Casino Resort. We'll draw winners every half hour on Friday and Saturday nights, and you won't need a magnifying glass to uncover up to $303,000 in cash and prizes. Plus, a chance to leave your fingerprints on a 2021 Audi A5 Premium Plus Cabriolet. The big drawing is June 26th at 10 p.m. With your rewards card, you can win the game of clues at Savoba Casino Resort. Visit Savoba.com for details.
It's Mike Simpson here. You got to protect yourself these days and your family. And given how much we have all learned to hear and still do with the news every day, I am glad we have IQ Air, because that way you can do something about the germs, the air inside your home, where a lot of us have been spending a lot more time. IQ Air has the award-winning Autumn Series, their personal purifier. They also have the Health Pro Plus, their room purifiers. Patented industry-leading hyper-HEPA filtration. These purifiers from IQ Air, they eliminate up to 99.5% of airborne particulates down to 0.003 microns. That means the smallest particles that exist. Swiss designs, German-made, top ranks worldwide for viruses, bacteria, molds, pollen, smoke, dust, traffic pollution, and more. We're all worried right now about what we breathe, so breathe easier by protecting your family at home. IQAir.com/US or 800-500-4AIR. It's IQAir.com/US or 800-500-4AIR.
Did you know the laws recently changed and you can now have a secondary home in your backyard? If you own a home with a backyard in the Los Angeles area, United Dwelling wants to help you quickly and easily transform that space into life-changing income by building and renting out your new backyard home. United Dwelling clients earn upwards of $20,000 a year while increasing your property value over $150,000 on average. The best part, United Dwelling makes the process incredibly fast and easy and even guarantee a qualified tenant. They handle everything from permits and construction to property management and maintenance, all for one fixed price. LA homeowners are already making over $1,700 per month. All you have to do is make the call and they do the rest. Just call 323-676-1885. That's 323-676-1885. Turn your backyard into cash today. Call 323-676-1885 or visit UnitedDwelling.com. CACSLV 1026682. CABRE 0205736. Results verified. Call for full details.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Good afternoon, I'm Bob Brill. Our top local stories at 4:30. The Orange County DA is looking for anyone else who had an encounter with the suspects in the Aiden Leos freeway shooting.
District Attorney Todd Spitzer tells KNX suspects Marcus Ariz and Winnie Lee started dating in December of 2020 and drove the same late model white Volkswagen Golf they were in when Ariz allegedly opened fire on the car 6-year-old Leos was riding in, killing him.
Motorcyclist, somebody in a car. We're looking for any and all interactions that occurred or may have occurred between that car, those individuals, and any other citizen in the greater Southern California area.
Spitzer says the pair had another incident a week after Aiden's death where Reeves is accused of flashing a gun at a Tesla driver.
We knew what their path was on a daily basis going to and from work. It was the 5591 corridor, but it doesn't mean that they didn't, take other routes.
Anyone with information is urged to call the OC District Attorney's Office. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
New York City marked Juneteenth with festive celebrations across the city. WCBS TV reporter Christina Fan.
Organizers say ever since the death of George Floyd last year, the holiday has really taken on new meaning, reminding the country how far we've come and how far we still have to go.
One event in Brooklyn has been holding Juneteenth celebrations for 12 years. On Thursday, President Biden signed legislation making Juneteenth a federal holiday. It commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S. As is the case with some other federal holidays, there are those who worry that having the day off might somehow cheapen the meaning of Juneteenth.
It will be another federal day off,
But will it be a day to reflect or a day to barbecue and soak up some sun?
I'm not worried us celebrating Juneteenth. We're keeping it.
Carlos Hill is a professor of African American Studies at the University of Oklahoma. He says the death of George Floyd and the protest that followed made Juneteenth that much more poignant.
It was a moment where the country really did reflect on the connections between slavery and today. And so there will be moments like that as well. And because it's a national holiday, it will have tremendous impact.
Professor Hill says, if anything, having the day off will only help elevate Juneteenth. Chris Seaton's KNX 1070 News Radio.
A highly contagious coronavirus variant that was first found in India appears to be spreading in LA County.
Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer describes the increase in Delta variant cases being identified among county residents as concerning.
None of these Delta variants are attached to one or two large outbreaks. Because as I noted, there are a lot of places where we see multiple members in one family that are infected with the Delta variant.
While sequencing is limited and not random, Ferrer says the figures indicate this variant, which seems to be more severe, is spreading locally. And while fully vaccinated people appear to be well protected, the partially vaccinated may get only limited protection.
We do think there's more circulation of the Delta variant. This has happened across the country, and it's worrisome for people who are not fully vaccinated.
Ferrer says the risk to those who have yet to get jabs make the continuing decline in demand for shots especially concerning. Claudia Pescuta, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The state is rolling out a new system where you can display your vaccination status on your smart device.
The California Department of Public Health and California Department of Technology are jointly announcing a new and optional tool for Californians who received a COVID-19 vaccination to access their records from the state's immunization registry system.
State epidemiologist Dr. Erica Pond says it's for people who may have misplaced their cards or if they want a digital copy. Any problem with the state's Department of Technology says it's convenient.
He was driving fast.
Also comes with a QR
He didn't even see me.
which makes these details readable by a QR scanner.
QR scanners would be able to read your status but wouldn't be able to store your information. Rob Archer, KNX 1070 News Radio.
And the tool can be accessed on our website at knx1070.com. Drive-by shooting left a person dead and two others hurt in South LA last night. Shooting happened on the South Bond near 65th. A woman was pronounced dead at the scene. Another man and woman were hurt. They were expected to survive. Police say they don't have a motive for that shooting. And Governor Newsom denies parole for a former Manson family follower.
The governor rejected parole for Bruce Davis, convicted of two killings, musician Gary Hinman and Donald Shorty Shea in 1969. A parole board panel recommended parole for the 78-year-old inmate. However, Newsom wrote that Davis continues to minimize his involvement in the Hinman and Shea murders and lacks insight into how he came to follow Mr. Manson and commit such extreme acts of violence. The governor said he couldn't be safely released until he could demonstrate deeper insight into his involvement in these crimes and take full responsibility for his part in one of the darkest points of California history. Davis had been found suitable for parole 6 previous times. However, Newsom blocked his release in November of 2019, and former governors Jerry Brown and Arnold Schwarzenegger had also rejected parole. Mark Austin Thomas, KNX 1070 News Radio.
And coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll have the very latest on this pandemic and where it's kind of going now as we kind of wind down, but certain parts of the world are not winding down very quickly. More on that coming up in about 3 minutes. It's 4:35. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Brought to you by Skywalls. Let's check in with Tim Greenwood.
In Topanga on Pacific Coast Highway, that's just above Pacific Palisades, PCH and Coastline Drive. It's where we have a 2-car crash, and the police are on the way there. Trees on fire visible from the 405 north at Atlantic Avenue near a homeless encampment in Long Beach. Diamond Bar, 57 south at Sunset Crossing off-ramp, a 2-car crash blocking lanes. They got the car out of the way. 405 south at Burbank, all lanes clear. Traffic beginning to recover after you're really on the brakes hard at Sherman Way, and then it begins to pick up almost immediately. 405 north at Brookhurst Street, an SUV and a car. That crash is all off to the right shoulder. Up Montclair now, 10 east at Indian Hill Boulevard off-ramp. Looks like we have a stalled car right in the middle of the road. Revolutionize your home in ways you never thought possible with Skywalls. Moving glass walls change the way you see the world, making indoor-outdoor living possible anytime. MovingGlassWalls.com.